Let's discuss about unilateral and bilateral nasal obstruction causes. Before going to that, we have to know the different regions of the nose. This is called as a, let me mark here, this is called as a vestibule together, vestibule, and this is nasal, this is called as a nasal cavity proper, and this is a nasopharynx here. Okay, based on this, we have obstruction, we have unilateral obstruction and bilateral obstruction. Let me write here, we have unilateral obstruction, we have bilateral obstruction. In the unilateral obstruction we have vestibular obstruction, and then in the nasal cavity and nasopharynx, as well as in bilateral we have vestibular again in nasal cavity and nasopharynx. So this is the whole picture of our lecture here. Okay, coming to the common for both unilateral and bilateral obstruction. So whichever they give, you just have to write these 6 points as common for both unilateral and bilateral. What are those? Vestibulitis, stenosis, atresia, choanal atresia, and then hypertrophic turbinate and deviated nasal septum. Now it looks very confusing, very difficult to remember. Let me break it for you. See, in this diagram you see the first part of the air entry, that is called as a vestibule, that you will remember. Okay, vestibulitis. Okay, vestibulitis. Then what happens is, dheere dheere, slowly this vestibule, then suppose this is nose and this is the eye of the person, it's not a good picture. Okay, so this is the mouth. Okay, so this is the nose of the person and these are the hair follicles here surrounding. Just imagine. Okay, let me draw a better diagram. So this is the nose and this is a mouth, and this is the person. Now it looks like a person. Okay, here is the nasal vestibuli, there are hairs here everywhere. Okay, so this is called as a vestibule. Itis of this means inflammation of this is called as a vestibulitis. Suppose this is getting a little narrower, space is getting here narrower, it is called as a stenosis. Then it is completely blocked, is called as a atresia. Okay, front end if it is blocked, then it is called as a atresia of let me clarify this for you, just atresia of vestibule. Then if it is, suppose this one again, let me draw. Okay, yeah, so this is the posterior part here. Suppose this is completely blocked, it is called as a choanal atresia. Front end blocked, atresia, it is choanal atresia. Okay, now you remember. Then here also there is a blockage, this is caused by hypertrophic turbinates. Suppose these are the turbinates, hypertrophy of these turbinates will block the middle cavity also. And deviation of the nasal septum is also a cause for unilateral and bilateral. Let me revise it for you here and now only. Okay, first we have unilateral and bilateral. In the unilateral and bilateral, there are some common causes like vestibulitis. Suppose this is a nose and these are the turbinates, and this is the posterior surface of the nose, nasal cavity. Suppose this is the vestibule, the inflammation of this is called as a vestibulitis, and dheere dheere it will become narrower, this is called as stenosis, and it will get completely blocked, this is called as a atresia. And this blockage is called as a choanal atresia, and this blockage is called as a hypertrophic hypertrophic turbinates. Because of this middle cavity is also gets blocked. And then we have DNS. Now you will remember the common causes of unilateral and bilateral. Come here. Now we will remember based on the vestibule, nasal cavity and nasopharynx. We have discussed this vestibulitis, stenosis and atresia. Now what is special is a furuncle. Furuncle means this is the vestibule, these are the hairs here. Okay, the infection of these hair is called as a furuncle. So that is also a cause, extra cause. And then nasoalveolar cyst and papilloma and squamous cell carcinoma. And there are some causes in the nasal cavity as well as unilateral choanal atresia as we have discussed. Now you have to remember these as extra: nasal cavity, unilateral, the causes for the unilateral nasal obstruction. These are some extras. How do you remember? I have made a pictorial memory hook here. See, let me tell you a story first. This is a square nosed guy. You see him? Right. he is right here. This is basically, this is a arena where it is round, arena is round, and we have shown the picture of only one side. Here are the people sitting only on one side. The other side of the frame, there are no people. So from this you can remember the unilateral nasal obstruction causes. Now in this arena, we have this square nosed guy, weird looking guy. So all the people, what they are telling is, sue this guy, let him die, let's attack him with the bulls and as well as rhinos, and let's kill him. So that's why what they did is, these people have left the hyper bull and hyper rhino out, so that they together, just squash this guy, smash this guy and kill him. But instead these bull and this rhino are so knowledgeable that they have a sympathy towards this bad square nose guy. Instead of attacking him, they start to attack the foreign guy. Okay, because of the attack, this foreign guy started bleeding to the death. Okay, that is the story. So how do we remember with this story now? Because this square nosed guy is being attacked, one of the sympathizing audience said, see papa, the square nosed guy is being attacked. So from this you can remember, C means naso-alveolar cyst. Okay, papa means papilloma, square nose means squamous cell carcinoma. Here in the vestibular cause we have discussed naso-alveolar cyst, papilloma and squamous cell carcinoma. We are done with the vestibule now. Coming to the nasal cavity. So what was it? Square nose guy we have discussed. Okay, so we have bull, hyper bull, and then the rhino, stoned rhino. This is not a normal rhino, this is a stone rhino. That means stone rhino means rhinolith. Hyper means hypertrophic turbinate. Bull means concha bullosa. Stoned rhino means rhinolith. Rhinolith means nasal stone. Lith means stone, so that's why. Okay, from this you can remember stoned rhino is rhinolith. Next we have rhino and both rhino and bull attacking together in synchronously. So that's synchronous rope. This is rope, right? This is holding both the rhino and bull together. So this is synchronous rope, makes us remind about the synecdoche, that is nasal adhesion, which is more obvious in this picture, that the synecdoche is formed, that is means attachment, nasal adhesions. So instead of attacking this guy, they deviated and attacked the foreign guy. So from deviation you can remember deviated nasal septum. From enter, because of deviation they entered a different foreign foreign guy. They entered to the different foreign guy. Entry means enteroconal polyp. Hitting the foreign guy means foreign body. He started bleeding means bleeding polyp of septum, that is angiofibroma. Because of angiofibroma, these are the unilateral nasal obstruction causes. Let me reiterate. Let me just confirm whether we have covered all of this. Foreign body, deviated nasal septum, hypertrophic turbinates, concha bullosa, enteroconal polyps, synecdoche, rhinolith, bleeding polyps, and then some tumors, sinusitis. So all of them are covered. Now we are done with the unilateral nasal obstruction causes. Now coming to the bilateral. Bilateral is still more easy. As we have discussed, common here are marked with a red, that is vestibulitis, bilateral vestibulitis, stenosis of the nares, and congenital atresia of nares, as well as bilateral choanal atresia, as we have discussed, which are very common to both unilateral and bilateral. Common causes. These are the common causes: hypertrophic turbinate and DNS. So these are done. Okay, now coming to the specific extras. In vestibule you have to remember extra: collapsing nasal alveoli, then In the nasal cavity, you have to just remember just one word, rhinitis. Okay, whatever comes after rhinitis, whatever comes, just put whatever you can remember out of rhinitis. You remember, so just remember rhinitis. Okay, rhinitis. Then whatever comes to your mind associated with the rhinitis, you just keep, acute rhinitis, chronic rhinitis, then rhinitis medicamentosa, then allergic rhinitis, atrophic rhinitis, rhinitis sicca. So whatever words you can associate with the word rhinitis, you can write easily in the bilateral nasal obstruction causes. So still extra things are nasal polyp and then septal hematoma, nasal polyp, septal hematoma and septal abscess. So then coming to the nasopharynx causes. Nasal pharynx causes here this hyperplasia of adenoid, then polyp, large cornal polyp, then adhesion between the soft palate and posterior wall, then large benign malignant tumor, Thorne-Waltz cyst. So now we have remembered everything. Let me just revise entire thing in a very fast way. Okay, we have discussed anatomy. This is vestibule, this is nasal cavity, this is the nasopharynx. Coming to the common causes of unilateral and bilateral obstruction: vestibulitis. Suppose this is the person, this is his mouth, this is the nose, this is vestibulitis. Then it is keep on decreasing in the diameter, that is stenosis, and furthermore decrease causes atresia of the front, and then atresia of these blockage of these, which is a hypertrophic turbinates. Hypertrophying of the turbinates will block the nasal cavity. Now blocking here is corneal atresia and then DNS. So these are the common causes of unilateral and bilateral obstruction. Coming to the specifics, the audience are sitting in a one side, that's why you can remember unilateral nasal obstruction causes. Now coming to this square shaped guy, and in the audience, sympathizing audience is saying, see papa, square nose guy is being hit. So from C you can remember cyst, that is nasoalveolar cyst. Now from papa you can remember papilloma, from square you can remember squamous cell carcinoma. From this guy we are done with the vestibule. Now coming to the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity, we have this rhino, hyperrhino, and as well as bull are tied together and attacking this foreign guy instead of attacking the square shaped guy, square nosed guy. These bulls and rhino saw this square shaped guy and got sympathized. Instead they entered and deviated and entered this body of the foreign person, and he started bleeding. So this is the story. From hyper you can remember hypertrophic turbinate, from bulla you can remember concha bullosa, from rhino, stone shaped rhino, you can remember rhinolith, from synchronous you can remember synechy, from deviated nasal septum, from entry you can remember antroconal polyp, from foreign guy you can remember foreign body, from bleeding you can remember bleeding polyps of septum. So these are the causes of unilateral nasal obstruction. Coming to the bilateral nasal obstruction, whatever red marked are common to the bilateral and unilateral. So these are the common, those are vestibulitis, stenosis and atresia. Coming to here, hypertrophic turbinate, DNS and bilateral corneal atresia. Then coming to the specifics, we have vestibule. In the vestibule we have collapsing nasal alli. In the nasal cavity we have rhinitis, whatever you can remember of rhinitis, acute rhinitis, chronic rhinitis and allergic rhinitis, atrophic rhinitis, rhinitis medicamentosa. Those are all the causes in the nasal cavity, bilateral obstruction in the nasal cavity. Coming to the nasopharynx, we have this diagram here. The polyp, adenoid hyperplasia in the polyp, large corneal polyp, and then Thorne-Waltz cyst, adhesion between the soft palate and the nasopharynx. So now we are done with the unilateral and bilateral causes of nasal obstruction. I think you will be better able to recall in the examination after hearing this.